Welcome to the Lone Wolf North American Bike Park Review Tour. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Drew. This summer we're going to be hitting the road to not only review the trails at bike parks, but give you some of the best information on local spots to eat, lodging, camping, and activities to do off the mountain.
So strap in, let's hit the road.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Lone Wolf Bike Park Review Tour. We are going to be talking about Bogus Basin in Idaho. We just spent a few days outside of Boise riding the trails at Bogus and going to share a little bit about our experiences while we were there.
Now, Bogus Basin has an elevation of about 1,800 feet, so it's not a huge mountain, but on that mountain they've managed to cram about 20 trails and almost 30 miles of trail network. So it's actually a pretty cool spot. It's located just outside of Boise. It's about 16 miles or maybe 45-minute drive up the hill from Boise, so not too bad.
Yeah, it is a very windy and steep road to get out of the city and up into the mountain. So take that into consideration when you're looking at lodging or thinking about where to stay. We decided to stay at a rental unit that we got on vacasa.com. We'll put a link to that below. We figured, it'd be great to stay up by the bike park. We're right there, right in, right out. What we didn't realize is that Bogus Basin is dead. There's no nightlife, there's not really any restaurants, bars, nothing to do. And if you want to go out to eat, do anything like that, you got a 45-minute drive down the mountain and then back up once you're done. So be warned, if you got a family, you want to camp, stay at home, take some groceries, staying up on the mountain might be really nice. We had a great spot, it was really affordable. But if you want to have some fun, party a little bit, you'll definitely want to stay down in Boise and drive up every day.
That is a decent drive though, considering. So in terms of off or on mountain activities, what you can do is they have summer tubing, which is like snow tubing, but in the summer. They have a climbing wall. They have a bungee trampoline jumping thing. They have a small set of dirt jumps that you can practice on with a little pump track as well. And then they also have a mountain slide or whatever you want to call that thing.
I think they're calling them like coasters now,
yeah.
Like outlaw coaster or something like that. And it's basically kind of like a sit-in luge track on rails. And you just take a little lift up and kind of zip back down. It's actually a pretty fun little thing. We saw a lot of people doing it while we were there.
Yeah, then in terms of on-mountain dining, they have your typical burgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, stuff like that. But outside of that, there really is nothing to eat up on the mountain. So make sure you bring food for breakfast and dinner because all you're gonna get up there is lunch.
So Bogus Basin is really unique, I would say. It is a non-profit mountain. So, ticket prices are really affordable. They're what, 30?
Yeah, 30 bucks.
$30
and then 49 for a whole season pass, which is not bad at all.
Yeah. And what we likened the trails to was sort of like a chairlift backcountry experience, right? It's, if you've ever done a heli drop or anything like that, it's like, you're sitting on a chairlift, yet once you get onto these trails, they're I don't want to say primitive, but they're narrow, they're, nice, single track, they're almost pristine in many ways.
Yep.
They've got a lot of multi-directional trails, and multi-use trails, right?
Yep.
So you can pedal up or down. They've got a trail called Round the Mountain, and it's a big loop. It'll take you around the whole peak. And from there, they've got several downhill-only downhill-only trails. And we kind of had a lot of fun exploring all of them. But we also felt like after a couple of days, we'd kind of reached the max of the trails there. What were some of your favorites?
Yeah, so one that stood out in particular is Berm Baby Berm. It's kind of part of their newer effort, like a lot of mountains, to modernize and do more flow trails. So it's a trail from the top to the bottom. It has just big berms and rollers the whole way down. It's a nice wide trail and it's pretty fun to practice your cornering, especially since the dirt there is really loose. So you can slide all around and you can't really trust anything, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It was crazy. Like the trails were probably on the less technical, demanding side of everything we've been to, but I had more close calls there than any other place we've been so far. And that was mostly because of just the unpredictable nature of like the cornering and the traction. It was a little scary.
It's fun though.
It was a blast.
Fun.
We absolutely loved it. Berm Baby Berm is definitely a highlight worth hitting. G19 is gonna be their techie double black downhill trail. Definitely had some fun on that. It will challenge you in a few of the sections. There's some definitely tech rock maneuvers. And then Shindig was another favorite I liked. And again, going back to the backcountry nature, it is a narrow, raw single track, nothing man-made about it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a bike park experience where there's big jump trails, traditional bike park lines, you're not gonna find it at Bogus. Bogus is basically taking a chairlift to the top of your favorite local trail network. And it's kind of cool in that way. It has this kind of small town vibe. The trails are all pretty good. And it's kind of a fun little thing, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a destination. I wouldn't spend a week there or something like that.
Right. If you're going to Boise, you want to take a visit, check the town out. It's really cool. Definitely worth hitting Bogus while you're there. So a trail that we definitely would suggest trying if you've got a trail bike is the trail from Bogus down to Boise. It's a pretty long ride. It'll get you out for a couple hours, but it's like a large elevation drop because you're going from the ski hill all the way down to the valley below.
Yeah, and then once you're in the valley, actually they have a really, really cool water park. It's called the Boise Whitewater Park, I believe.
Yep.
And they have everything from little baby rapids that you can actually surf on or kayak on, which is pretty cool. They have pools that you can swim in. They have little lazy rivers you can float. It's a really good time. Ice cream, all kinds of stuff to do and hang out there, so you can beat the heat once you get into town, which is really nice.
Yep, yeah, definitely. And after the sun goes down, downtown Boise definitely has a few things to do. We had a good time just walking around. It's got a really cool, kind of a historic vibe. Beautiful architecture, the buildings are neat, and tons of bars, restaurants. We stepped into a little kind of time warp. It was like an arcade bar we had a lot of fun at.
Space bar. Yep. Yeah, they have full arcade games and a bar, so you can hang out with your buddies, grab a couple of beers and play some really cool 90s arcade game, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, so overall, I guess, where do you stand on Bogus Basin in the Boise area?
Yeah, so it's hard. I mean, this park is not something that has a lot of traditional bike park things, right? There's not a lot of stuff to do. There's no real village in town. There's not a lot of places to eat, so a lot of things that we traditionally score don't necessarily apply. In terms of trails, though, I think that actually the trails were pretty solid. You have to be looking for something like that. You're not going to find jump trails. You're not going to find built wide bike park trails. It's more single track stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, then it's actually a pretty fun park.
Yeah.
In terms of number scoring, I kind of struggled in this area. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, it is tough. I feel like Bogus is going to have, it could be a 6 for some people. It could be a 9 for others.
Yeah.
Just because it really depends on what you're searching when you go there, right? Like you said, if you got a downhill bike and you're searching for, a burly downhill bike park, this is not it. If you want to maybe get a couple laps in pedaling, you want to take a chairlift ride up, get some scenery, sort of have an easy backcountry experience. It's going to give you that. And I guess because of the lack of infrastructure at the quote-unquote village, I'd probably have to give the park maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah.
It's got good trails. There's just not very many. And there's not a lot of infrastructure there to support it. It's a nonprofit. I feel bad, I don't want to ding them, but it's probably not something I would recommend people take a long trip to go visit at the same time.
Yeah, I'd probably put it somewhere around 5.5 and a 6. And again, it's a cool place to stop in. If you're driving through Boise and you're looking for something to do, definitely a cool little park to check out and ride some good single track. So yeah, we don't want to knock it, but it's pretty fun. It's a smaller local park.
Thanks for checking out the latest episode, guys. We're stoked to hit the road and get to the next spot. Stay tuned for plenty more episodes, and we'll see you on the trails.